Thursday night, an NFC showdown up in the Pacific Northwest. Welcome to Good Morning Football. We are all the way across the country getting you set for this one. This is Good Morning Football presented by Intuit QuickBooks. My name's Kay Adams. This is Nate Burleson, of course. Peter Schrager.
You know, I was looking around the league. Some teams need to tighten up, get ready for the playoff run. I said, cut it all off. Let's go. I am ready. Let's make a march to Atlanta, the Super Bowl. The hair is ready.
You look good, kid. Hi, Kyle Brandt.
What's happening, Peter? Did you use a Flowbee? One of those things? Remember that? Yeah. Save money and look great.
Sort of.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah. Tell me the commercial break, because we don't have time to get to that hashtag GMFB. It is time for the lead block because we've got... I don't know how this is going to go tonight. Both have run games all of a sudden, both teams, the Seahawks and the Packers, and they also have quarterbacks that sort of like to be pushed back with their back against the wall. Yeah. They like to make fireworks happen, especially when facing each other. We always say Aaron Rodgers is one of the best. Some people hit him with the GOAT emoji time and time again, but he has one Super Bowl ring in 10-plus seasons, one Super Bowl ring in over a decade. Are we collectively, as fans, as media, as an NFL ecosystem, as you like to put it, are we giving him a bit of a pass just because he's Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, there's something that goes on here in the industry, and certainly at this table, that it's never Rodgers' fault. It's never his fault. But I'm thinking about it, and I cannot think of a game, as many times I've seen him play, where Rodgers has blown it. He didn't have his game. He threw the big pick and the bad pass, and Buck and Aikman on the broadcast, and I don't know what Rodgers was thinking here, and he takes off the chin strap and they lose. And if you look at all the Super Bowl winning quarterbacks of his era, they've all done it. Yeah. You know, Roethlisberger's done it a bunch of times. Last season against Jacksonville, of course. Eli, tons of them. Peyton, hundreds of them. Breeze, it's a little harder, but I remember even last season, Drew Brees threw a huge interception in the end zone against Atlanta. Rodgers doesn't make that play. Brady's got him. Marlon Jackson, Von Miller, Champ Bailey, over and over. Rodgers doesn't buckle and choke at the end of the game. The reason we say it's never his fault is because it's never his fault. I'm going to stick by it. I think we're fine with it.
I understand what you're saying, but if we're talking about these two quarterbacks in this magnificent matchup, I could say the same thing about Russell Wilson. When is the time where you saw Russell Wilson just absolutely blow it? I'll tee it up.
Russell Wilson threw the worst interception in NFL history against the Patriots on the goal line.
He's not wrong.
Okay, all right. So obviously we know exactly what he's talking about, but you're also talking about that second Super Bowl that he went to, the back-to-back Super Bowl that he went to.
Okay.
The first Super Bowl he went to was his second season in the league, and since then he's done nothing but show us greatness. Here's the thing. We've had this conversation time and time again, and that's what it's about right there. You can mention Aaron Rodgers playing in the league for 10 years and won Super Bowl. Guess what? This guy's been in 6, and he has one, and took his team to back-to-back Super Bowls. It's okay for us to say that they're both great, and they're comparable in certain areas, and they differ in strengths. I came out this week, and I said Russell Wilson has a little bit of an edge over Aaron Rodgers. And people say, well, it's because Aaron Rodgers has torched your teams. Nate, you always hate the Packers. You hate Aaron Rodgers. No, Aaron Rodgers is damn good. He's athletic. He's one of the best to ever play this game. But so is Russell Wilson. The strengths are, I feel like they're both clutch guys. Yeah. They both can do amazing things outside the pocket. For like pinpoint accuracy, Aaron Rodgers dropping back and hitting the receiver right here because the DB is right here, that's something he does the best I've ever seen. When it comes to arm strength, I might give Russell Wilson that edge. Speed, Russell Wilson's faster. His 40 times says that. So it's okay to say these guys have different strengths. I just feel like Russell Wilson, for me, is just as good as Aaron Rodgers.
Here's where Kyle's point really resonates with me. The Packers right now are 4-4-1, and it's not because of Aaron Rodgers that they have those 4 losses. It's because of other teammates that have had ridiculous performances to cause them victories, even this season alone. I mean, we go through it. Mason Crosby misses 4 field goals. That should be a win. You're coming back down from 20. Like, that should be a win. This guy's supposed to make those field goals. The game in Los Angeles, easy. Ty Montgomery, sit in the end zone. What are you doing? Comes out of it and then obviously fumbles the ball away. That should have been Aaron Rodgers given a shot to win. That is a loss. And then as recently as the Patriots game on that Sunday night, Aaron Jones, for all the fantasy numbers he put up and all that stuff, this is 17-17, late in the game, fumbles it away, and obviously the Patriots come.
That changed the whole game.
There's a very good possibility, and again, this is revisionist history. We don't know how this game would go. It was tied at the time. We don't know if Rodgers goes 80 yards. There's a very good chance that the Packers should be 7-1-1 right now, but teammates of his have screwed it up and cost him that opportunity to win. And if you go back through his career, it could be as easy as a Brian Bostic botched onside kick. That should have given him an opportunity. It could have been when we go to those playoff games where he played Kurt Warner and they lost 53-47. You're asking
Giants
him,
Hail Mary.
The Giants Hail Mary. There's so many things. I can't pin it on Rodgers. With Russell Wilson, there's no game where I'm like, they would have won, but Earl Thomas screwed up this play. They would have won, but Richard Sherman made that major mistake. To me, I look at Aaron Rodgers, and he should have more rings, and he probably should have more wins this season, and it's because of other guys getting in his way. That's what I would say.
Has to play into it as well. I'm okay with Rodgers being compared to Wilson and them, because they both do it with not much help. They both shown us that they can do that. Yeah. I have a problem when we start comparing Rodgers to Brady, because there's a conversation to be had there with the rings, of course, but you look at Aaron Rodgers in this situation, the way that we're looking at this in this matchup for Thursday night, he's had 3 All-Pros in his entire career in over a decade. Only one on the offensive side, and that was John Kuhn. You look at Brady, he's had 10. Brady's had a top 10 defense every time he's won the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers has had a top 10 defense twice. One of those years, he won the Super Bowl. So to Peter's point, it's about everything that's surrounding you and those little fluky plays. I'm with you guys. Sorry, Nate.
Listen, what you have in your preference of quarterback is like your preference in beer. Everybody has their own taste. You look at Tom Brady, if you like rings and things, you're going to pick him and say he's the GOAT forever. If you look at Drew Brees and you love numbers with the ring, he's the GOAT. If you say that Ben Roethlisberger is the GOAT, I'm fine with that. I feel like when it comes to these two quarterbacks, they constantly want to say that Aaron Rodgers because he's athletic and he's fast.
Do we make excuses for Rodgers?
Yes, you guys do. He's great. I've said it plenty of times on this show, but so are other quarterbacks. I don't understand how you can say a guy that's won 1 ring in 10 years is the best quarterback hands down. It's not. He's not even the best quarterback hands down in this season that 100%. We're playing in.
You know, you were saying that Russell got to his 2nd straight Super Bowl and everything and threw the interception against the Patriots. The week before that in the title game, Russell Wilson played the worst game of his career. He threw 4 interceptions. It was awful. And Seattle was that good and that blessed around him to carry him. Nobody's ever carried Rodgers. Think in your imagination right now. What are the great Packers defensive plays? What's Ty Law in the Super Bowl? What's Willie McGinnis? What's James Harris? They don't exist.
Clay Matthews had the big one against the Steelers.
It's a long time ago.
Let me,
great. And Charles Woodson shows up at the end of his career. It's good. What has he done in the last 8-9 years? Who are the great Packers defenders that have been around this great quarterback? I can't think of them.
Early in his career when he made that run to the Super Bowl, you guys just mentioned 2 names. Clay Matthews, Charles Woodson, both Defensive Players of the Year. As good as the Legion of Boom was,
All-Pros.
As good as those guys were, as good as that D-line was, as good as the linebackers were, Russell Wilson has never played with a Defensive Player of the Year. So to tell me that Aaron Rodgers didn't have major help, he did. Is he phenomenal? Yes, he is. But so is Russ.
Wilson v. Rodgers. We'd love to know what you guys out there think. Waking up on this Thursday morning, hours away from action in Seattle. Tweet us at #GMFB as we welcome in a guy who knows everything going on in Seattle right now because he is there live. It's Tom Pelissero. Big showdown in the Emerald City with these 2 squads facing off. What should we be expecting to see tonight, Tom?
Okay, there are a lot of weeks when players will give you the "it's just another game" cliche. I spoke to Packers defensive end Mike Daniels, who told me, I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to shy away from it. This is humongous for both these teams as they try to stay alive in the NFC playoff chase. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll acknowledged it as well, said, we know that these are championship matchups. Packers and Seahawks have met on a championship stage before. Daniels told me he considers this a rivalry game. He said there's been bad blood going back to the Fail Mary in 2012. Packers won the last 3 games in this series, but they're 0-3 in Seattle during the Russell Wilson era, have not won in this building since 2008. That was Aaron Rodgers' first season as the starter, and the Seahawks starting quarterback that day was none other than the legend himself, Charlie Fry. Extra challenge tonight. This is a short week. Seahawks veteran guard J.R. Sweezy told me, who's tougher? That's what this is going to come down to, guys.
Now, speaking of that short week, Tom, a key piece of that Seahawks defense, linebacker K.J. Wright was listed as doubtful. There's any chance that he plays in tonight's game?
Nate, I asked him that exact question when I saw K.J. Wright in the Seahawks locker room. He told me no. He then amended that and said a slim chance. If he wakes up and feels absolutely great, maybe he could test things out on the field. Right now, the bottom line for K.J. Wright, he told me, is I need to make sure that I am all the way back 100% so that I'm not putting myself or my teammates in a bad position. Make sure I can be the K.J. Wright that I know I can be. Wright had arthroscopic knee surgery the last week of August. He missed the first 6 games of the season. season. Came back after the bye. He told me he felt pretty good the first 2 games, but last week against the Rams, Wright said it was brutal. He was not able to finish that game. The issue he's got right now is swelling in that surgically repaired knee. It's something he's going to have to manage. The good news for KJ Wright and the Seahawks is he doesn't think it's long-term, hoping that by sitting out tonight, he is going to be able to get that knee right, be ready for the stretch run. Packers shorthanded tonight as well, guys. 4 starters left at home in Green Bay. That includes wide receiver Randall Cobb and linebacker Nick Perry.
A lot of injuries. They're banged up at tight end as well with Jimmy Graham. But good thing for the Seahawks, KJ Wright seems to be the only guy in doubt of playing tonight. You have DJ Fluker probably going to suit up, and their backfield looking stout as well. So not too many injuries on the Seattle side going into this one. Thanks so much, Tom. And we'll